Okay, we'll call the November meeting of the Airport Commission to order. Roll call. Here.
Neil Johnson,
Here.
Greg Collier,
Here.
Andrew Barker,
Here.
Joel Garner, Steve Smith, Bill Schoonover,
Here.
Micah Thomason.
Okay, we got a quorum. No minutes till next meeting. Comments from the audience? Update from Summit. Daniel.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Just briefly, looking at numbers from October to September. October, we did 37,500 gallons, and that's just over 600 gallons more than September, 36,909. That reflects a little bit less than last year, but considering everything that's been going on for this year to date, it's not too bad. Still down an amount over last year. I'm not sure what the percentage is, but definitely doing better than we expected, which is very nice. Any other updates? We had the lines painted onto the ramp. They look great. The guys who came out and did that for us did a very good job, and everybody's been real positively receptive to those lines. The guys that work the line really enjoy them. It's helping us keep our traffic a little bit more organized than it was before, and helping with the late night stuff, especially having the two tie down spots ground up has made a load of difference. We haven't had anybody try and park on those spots anymore. Update for the self-serve. Self-serve is working great. Actually, made a mistake on my end that resulted in me paying for it, but that's okay because we're having 100% satisfaction and fidelity on our self-serve unit. It's now hardlined into the internet. My only concern with it is that at the end of the year, I think the software that operates the self-serve is probably no longer going to be supported, so that's not going to be an issue for us. That'll be for QT Pod to update for us, and other than that, everything's working well. A lot of questions looking for a restaurant. A lot of people are looking for the restaurant coming in. Pretty disappointed that it's not there, so interest is still really strong. We've had a couple of people who've come in and actually taken a look at the restaurant through the windows and shown some interest, so I don't know how many people have actually reached out to the city, but it's sounding good from our end on interest. That's all I've got unless you have any questions.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Report from Ernest. Kate.
Good afternoon. Just 2 or 3 things to report since last time. Since last we met, we did obtain a default judgment against Mr. Mann for all the unpaid rental and late fees for the 7 properties that he had rented from the airport. Judgment was actually entered this morning. It's $4,600 plus costs. So now we'll be turning to try and collect that because, as one knows, it's always easier to get a judgment than it is to collect it. But we do have a judgment against him that was entered this morning. Second thing with regard to, actually it's A&J Construction Management, the old land lease that we discussed last time. They did file a motion in their bankruptcy case to assume that lease. I filed an objection with the court. We were supposed to have a hearing this morning on their motion in federal bankruptcy court, but it got moved to December the 2nd, so I'll have something to report next time. We're obviously objecting to them assuming that lease. The other thing is, I think I told you we filed suit against the prior occupiers of the restaurant, and we're still trying to get them served if anybody knows where they're at, because we're having trouble locating them to get them served. So I don't know that I have anything else besides that this month.
So the judgments were all from the personal?
Yes. Yep. He did vacate. They've all been leased out to other individuals. This was the remaining aspect of our case against him, was asking for the funds that he owed us.
So the bankruptcy court is looking at it as an asset. and-
I'm
and
not
a
sure
sale.
how they're looking at it. They filed what's called a motion to assume a lease, which my response was, we didn't have a lease. We had already terminated it
Right.
prior to the bankruptcy, but the court's gonna have a hearing on it, and we'll see what the court says. I think there may be some confusion on their end about, because there's different leases and different, and I know in my discussions, I know we're recording, so I don't want to say too much about our strategy, but
Understand.
we'll see how it goes on December the 2nd. It was supposed to be this morning, but it got moved, so.
On the judgments, what do we have, what tools do we have in our bag to even collect on a judgment?
We
It's
do, actually, the judgment has a provision in there where he is ordered to file, under state law, he's required to file a schedule of assets with the court within 45 days. In other words, we don't have to go out hunting for property or hunting for bank accounts. He's required to provide that information to the court within 45 days. I think 45 days is January 5th. And if he doesn't do that, then I can request that he be held in contempt of court until he provides that information to the court. That assists us in knowing where to look to recover, whether it be through garnishment, whether it be through writs of execution, in recovering our judgment. So we'll see if he complies. I'm not holding my breath, but we do have that tool available to us. So the court did order him to do that. And actually, when I mailed him the judgment this morning, I went ahead and provided that schedule of assets so he would already have the form that he was supposed to file with the court, so.
Anybody got any questions?
On the, through the fence that's 90 days plus, is there anything that we need to get Ernest involved in at this point in time? If it's
I'm happy
90
to.
days old?
Normally they don't pay. We've not had any problem with paying. If we do, we just go to the warrant.
Robert Squires paid, they got his check yesterday in the mail here. Max's Aviation paid a partial amount, I think they paid $350 on their 1010 that they owed. And the one I can't get a hold of is Hunt, I don't know who to contact for that hangar. We've been trying different addresses, different phone numbers.
Do the Hunts still own that hangar?
I thought they sold it.
I did too.
I thought George bought it.
Would it, I mean, is that worth you pursuing to contact George's and ask about it? It may be something they're not aware of.
Well, they should be because they have a hangar right next door.
Right, right, but maybe aware that it hadn't been paid.
What's the difference in the 760 and the 1010?
She paid part of it.
Oh, they just paid it? Okay.
Yeah,
She's
there's,
always been in protest.
yeah, theirs was 1010 and they,
That's what she told me every year. I pay in protest. I know, Rob. Thank you.
Oh, my God. You'd think, okay. Yeah, I understand. I was just curious how you got to the 760. Okay. That answers my question. Nothing beyond that. Anybody else?
Thanks, Ernest.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, okay. Airport operations, Laura?
I don't have a whole lot to report either. The localizer, they've got it all built back up, but they've been trying to get everything on it working properly. I'm not sure at this point if they've gotten everything working the way they want it to or not. They've been down there every week trying to get it up and everything running properly. But I think that they'll get that fixed in no time. We got the breezeway at the airport has been repaired, so all that stucco work's been done and fixed, and that looks really nice. All the hangars are rented. All I have left is 2 little storage units that are hard to rent because they're just storage. But
That's
and then,
good news, yeah.
And then we have the one proposal for the restaurant at this time, and I think he's on Zoom if anyone has questions for Nathan.
We can take that up right now. Everybody got a copy of the proposal on the restaurant?
Hadn't had a chance to look at it yet, but yeah.
Don't read the menu. 'cause-
Pardon me?
Don't read the menu if you're hungry at all.
Make you hungry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I already read it, and it is, I'm for anything, but this one seems to be more nonsensical and will work, just straightforward, we want to do a restaurant, we can serve food. And,
Yeah, James and I met with them on Monday, and they were very enthusiastic, so.
do we have access to our restaurant? We
Well,
do.
he's still in it, Jeff Mann is still occupying it. They
Okay.
haven't been serving this entire month, though.
Let's just say that we say, okay, let's go. We're gonna turn this restaurant over to you. Where are we at on that? What can we do? What do we have to do?
He has
in
until
order-
November 30th to totally vacate the restaurant. And then
We can't do anything till November 30th. What about equipment and stuff like that in there? How does that work? Do they need to take their equipment with them
They,
November the
they
30th?
didn't really have any equipment, they just,
Okay.
yeah, maybe two little small burner things.
Okay.
And all the rest equipment belongs staying there, so.
That's theirs or that's ours?
The equipment's ours.
They brought in a couple specialty items on top of what we already had out in there.
I know this wasn't on the agenda, brought before us, but I'm comfortable with acting on it today so we could be up and running if that was the pleasure of the commission. Does anybody have any objections to that?
Would like to confirm Monday through Friday, no Saturday or Sunday.
Nathan's on. Can you hear us, Nathan?
Yes, that's correct. It's my feeling that probably most of the traffic will be going through there through the week. And if I'm wrong about that, you can let me know.
Maybe it's in here and I haven't noticed. Can you give a breakdown on hours and meals? Are you just doing lunch and dinner, or what's your plan?
Under operating details, I have Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., serving specialty coffees, breakfast, and lunch. That's what I'm aiming at for now. I mean, I hope to expand at some point, but I want to just make a more modest request at the moment.
And is your plan to bring your smoker to the airport and smoke from there?
Yes, Daniel Hughes at the FBO office showed me a pad that had been poured for a previous smoker. So we're hoping to build either some sort of a shelter over that pad. It looks to be about 10 foot wide by 14 feet long. And we'd like to either build a shelter over it or park our current food trailer on it and use that to prepare the meat out, a lot of it has to be done outdoors. So we need a place out of the rain, out of the weather to do that.
Are you going to continue your operation in downtown Springdale as well, or you intend to move everything to the airport?
We'll probably move everything to the airport, at least initially. We've loved being downtown, and it's a bittersweet to think about leaving, but we just had several days of cold rain, and it just kind of cut our traffic about in half. And so as we were looking toward the even colder months, we just couldn't afford to operate in that spot. So
What's your plan from a marketing standpoint? How are you going to market it if you come in the airport?
Well, we currently have 2,000 Facebook followers. We've got about 800 people on our email list. So we've already established a client base or whatever. So we'll be notifying all of those people. And then James Smith of James & James is my minority partner. He's only 15%, but he's pretty good at the online marketing thing. So he's the one that's kind of helped us develop buzz and just kind of direct people to where we are. So mostly, online marketing.
Well, if he has the truck out there and people smell that, they'll
Yeah.
come.
And your lunch menu will primarily be some barbecue items, is that correct? Any other variety or just limited to barbecue right now?
Yeah, I mean, if we had something, it might be a hamburger or something just for somebody that's not in the mood for barbecue that day. But for the most part, yeah, we kind of want to be known for the barbecue.
Any other questions?
I'll say I've had that numerous times, and it's been good every time I've had it. It would be a good addition to the airport for sure.
What I've heard from everybody I've talked to.
Well, do we want to?
I would entertain a motion that we proceed with whatever needs to be done.
When are you closing the downtown location, or are you already?
Yeah, it's been closed for several weeks, and we still have some overhead over there to cover, which is kind of why we want to reopen in a place where we're in the dry. So that's some of our motivator is just, we really couldn't afford to be open with the reduced traffic, but we really can't afford to be closed either. So
So if we were to suggest a date of December 1st to get started, is that too soon, too quickly for you to move?
yeah, I think it is, especially, with the current, the coronavirus, there's kind of a resurgence. That's some of the concern. Also, just getting through the holidays and all of that. I think that, our overhead, we can shoulder it for, another month, but, and probably rather not try to open through the holidays and all that, and just open January 1st with hopefully the COVID cases will be hopefully under control with the vaccine or whatever, and also, the holidays behind us.
Then
We ought to just get a contract
I would just
together.
suggest that next meeting, we have the contract, proposal, contract and everything in front of us and let it vote on it then, since time is of no essence.
Have you been in the restaurant yourself to give it a close look to make sure that you're comfortable with your timeline?
Oh yeah, I mean I've walked through it a couple of times. If you've been to if you've been to the trailer, everything that we served on our menu, which was pretty extensive for a food truck, everything we've done there, we did in that trailer, which is, the actual cooking space is 11 feet by 7 feet. So we know how to make do.
Okay.
Okay, well, can we get that on the agenda for next meeting?
Have to approve.
Pardon me?
But you need to,
Well, we're gonna need a agreement, I guess. We don't have that in front of us today, do we? A contractual agreement, a lease.
if you like the proposal, that we can use the same lease we've been using, and
Okay, sure.
authorize me to go ahead or you.
Okay. I just thought since time wasn't of essence, we could do it at the next meeting, but,
It's okay with them, then that'd be fine.
pardon me?
That way everybody could
Right.
have the lease in
Yeah,
front of
and we
them.
can think about it, so we can have a month to think about it. Anything else?
So can you get back with us next month at our meeting? And we get a contract together and we can go over that with you?
Yeah, that's fine. Hopefully I can come in person. I just had close contact with somebody on Monday that tested positive for coronavirus. So, I don't think I'm infected or anything. I just thought it'd be safe by doing Zoom, but I should be able to come in person next month and I can fill out paperwork and stuff.
In the meantime, you'll go ahead and proceed with some of the things you need to do to target this January 1st?
If I have permission to do that, I'd like to see what it looks like after the end of this month when the current tenants are out, just what equipment is left and what sort of further cleaning and stuff needs to be done and all that, so.
What is the date of our next meeting? Is Chris, is it? Seventeenth. We should not have anything to interfere with Adams, so
Till a week out?
it should be good enough to do it next meeting. I think it's understandable that the consensus is gonna be pretty much in your favor, as you've seen here today.
Yeah.
So I don't see any further action needed unless some of you think we do. If we do, we'll do so. Other than that, we'll just hope to have it on the agenda next month with all the information where we can go ahead and vote on it.
Good.
Sounds like a winner.
Okay, moving along, Wyman, on yours.
Still in pretty good financial shape. We haven't spent a lot of money lately, so we've got about $198,000 in the bank.
Can't hear.
We're still in pretty good financial shape. We've got $198,000 in the bank, and we don't have any large expenses coming up anytime soon.
Okay. Any questions for Wyman? If not, is Bill on the Zoom? He isn't.
I've sent him a draft copy of a proposed lease agreement that I put in the packet, and he's in it, but he hadn't responded back yet.
And as I understand it, he'll be designing the new hangar, and we'll have the lease agreement and go from there. One of the thoughts I had on this, we may have talked about it last month, but if this thing goes through like plans, that would leave us open to go ahead and move to a second hangar there as we propose this one, whatever we would need to do. So that's something we'll need to consider next month. Are you with Garver? Oh, okay. So, okay, here we go. I'm sorry, I didn't see you back there.
No worries. Yeah, I'm here with Garver, and then Adam's also on the Zoom call.
Oh,
if you guys,
Adam's
and
up
he's going to
there.
give an update about the hangar project as well. Whenever you guys
I
get
should
to
have
us.
known. Okay. Would you care to, is Adam, are you gonna take the floor, or?
Sure, yeah. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, uh-huh.
All right, and again, apologies. My son actually got COVID, which is why I'm on Zoom today instead of in person, but everybody's healthy, so no concerns there. I'm going to try something to share my screen. That way it may be easier to talk through where we're at with this if I can point to things on the screen. So just give me a heads up there in the room if you can see a map of the airport here.
Yes, we can see it.
Great. So, of course, we're looking at this area just on the northeast corner of the airfield, north of that last hangar. And to give you some feedback on where we're at on this project, I'm going to zoom over here, and this is the proposed taxiway, apron, hangar, and then the access parking. So when we left you last month, obviously Bill Adams had approached the airport about potentially constructing this hangar if the city would take care of the more ancillary site work to support the entire future hangar complex. And we've continued that conversation, and we are going to resubmit the LSD to go that route, and that actually happens today. If you remember, we were planning to submit for large-scale developments, and we're going to have a meeting in early November. But because of this going on here, plus just with some concerns that the mayor had with some of the variance requests, we pulled that application, and now we're going to go in December with that application. Other than Bill being now the responsible party for the hangar itself, the only other changes are Bill is going to go ahead and do the improved facade along this eastern wall to meet city standards, and we're going to go ahead and do some very limited landscaping and sidewalk improvements here along 265. That way the city is meeting their own design criteria. And so all this will go to the Planning Commission meeting the first week of December and get approved. Now, to keep things moving, we went ahead and advertised the site work for bid on our original schedule, and that hit the paper on Sunday. And so the site work, which includes the apron, the taxiway, the parking lot, and the utilities, the mainline utilities, is all out for bid right now. That will open bids in mid-December. And the plan would be to come back to you at your December meeting. We'll have bids in hand, and then can move forward, hopefully, with a state grant application, which will be on their January commission to get a grant to fund, hopefully, a majority of the site work. And then while we're building the site work, Bill would be building his hangar, and Wyman may be able to better explain the terms behind how that's going to work in the lease. Wyman, if you want to take over and just walk through what that's going to look like as far as him building the hangar and how that arrangement works.
You'll make a contribution to the airport commission for the estimated cost of the hangar. We'll sign a 30-year lease that will go into effect when we get a certificate of occupancy on the hangar. We'll also sign a contract for him to act as general construction manager to build the hangar at a cost not to exceed the amount that he donated to us. So he'll build the hangar, we will own it, but he'll have a 30-year lease. It'll reduce cost to recover his investment.
And then, like you said, Neil, obviously this ultimate build out could look something like this, where there is another hangar potentially here of about equal size, the 100 by 100 that currently sits, that's going to sit right here. Or you could look at another hangar there or there, like that, to have the full 4 build out. We did design the water line, the hydrant access, to where if for some reason a bigger developer wanted to come in and put a larger hangar, something like that, along 265, that could be possible as well. Or we could put a larger hangar on the north side like that. One thing we talked about here recently with a meeting with the water utility, Springdale Water, is our water line route goes something like this to provide hydrants both here and here for future development. If for some reason we get, like you said, some feedback from the commission that y'all may want to go ahead and just move forward with a hangar here, there's the opportunity to take that water line more along this route and save some money. But we went ahead and bid the more conservative option for now, just to be safe. Then we can always adjust in the future before construction starts if you have a better feel for what y'all want to do with y'all's hangar. And so, again, in summary, we'll get our large-scale development approval, which will include the apron and Bill's hangar and all the site utilities in December. We'll open bids in mid-December and come back to you at your December meeting with a grant application for your approval to go to the state.
If we decide to move forward to that other hangar, would it not be wise to go ahead and include the infrastructure in this large-scale development?
Yeah, so we are including all the infrastructure you would need for that hangar in this one as well. So all the water and electric, which isn't shown on this plan because that's being brought in by SWEPCO, all of that work will also support your hangar if it's in this location, or we can adjust it slightly if you want to put it somewhere else.
So we don't have to go back to the planning commission?
You would have to go back to Planning Commission just for the building itself, because right now they're only approving this building, and so you'd get to go back to the Planning Commission, I assume, just for the building itself, because they still have to want to see the facade of that facility, is my best guess, is what we'd have to do. But it'd be a pretty quick process.
Right, I understand.
What's the setback from Bill's hangar to 265? What's the footage there? Linear footage?
Yeah, I'll tell you here in just a second, Greg. It's the beauty of technology these days. So this is the curb of 265. It's about 196 feet.
So potentially, what would the distance be between that hangar and the other hangar? East of-
Yes, that would be 30-foot standard IBC building code, so that'd be a 30-foot gap here between the two hangar facilities.
So we'd still have 50-plus feet on the other side between 265.
Yep.
That's right. The goal is we designed this landscaping and sidewalk to where you can slide another 100 by 100 in here. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Greg, but you can get another 100 by 100 here and still be okay.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, you're gonna talk about the east side taxiway?
I think Greg's going to hit that one, so I'll let him come up and walk through that with you.
Perfect. Thanks, Adam. I'm Greg Thomas, by the way. Been working with Adam for 2 or 3 years now. And so for the taxiway Bravo extension update, once again, that's the northeast taxiway extension to the 1-8 end of the runway. We're going to be installing a box culvert and extending the taxiway as part of that project, as well as we're also going to be installing taxiway edge lights all the way down along the east side of the taxiway and all the connectors. So that you'll have signs and lights on that side of the airfield as well. And just to wrap up on that, that was your fiscal year 2020 project. So it's in design right now, and the plan for construction is 2022. So it's actually planned for construction next year, or I guess 2022. There it is. And so we're still in the preliminary stages of design. For just to follow up on a few of the things that I've discussed with you guys at the last meeting, we're still working on the floodplain modeling of Spring Creek that runs underneath the runway there. And so we're actually wrapping that up and have a few meetings next week to kind of figure out what the plan is moving forward, whether we will need to coordinate with FEMA or not. Also, we will have, we've been working on the environmental studies associated with this project. We had our environmental scientists visit the site since the last meeting. It was 2 weeks ago. And so they're beginning their environmental documentation on that now. And then finally, I talked about the geotechnical investigation and the soils at the airport last week. And we sent the geotechnical subconsultant out again to collect more samples, and they are running more tests as we speak. So we expect to get those answers back here soon before the next meeting so that we can move on with design and get this thing going for you guys. But we're still on track to advertise, or not advertise, but to have this project ready so that in case there is additional funding this coming year, fiscal year 2021, that we should be ready and able to accommodate that for you guys. Any questions? And Adam, did I leave anything out that you wanted to mention?
What was
Nothing
the
here.
preliminary report on the soil?
The preliminary report was that there was soil, like fill soil, so good quality soil that was brought in for, I guess, whenever they extended the runway a while back, or whenever they installed those box culverts, but it wasn't compacted well enough. And so what we're having to do is either cement treat it, so we're adding cement to the soil to give it a little bit more stiffness, or we will have to cut out more soil than is typical for these kind of projects, and then use good quality and good compacted soil as well.
I think that's what we did on the south end of that taxiway, lime stabilized it or cement stabilized it or something we did.
You're exactly right, Neil. I was going to reference that. You probably remember the east side taxiway when it got rehabbed back in, I think, 2002. That's exactly what happened. We dug down. It was rough material, so I can't remember if it was lime or fly ash stabilized, but yeah, we had to treat it as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any old business? Comments from commissioners? And then we'll adjourn.